Today is the last day of my teaching. This is coming up to the last day of the teaching for the Forden students.
당번에 제시교반은 신 드린랑베 니마제마제 참샤샤나 가서래 마도 시규도 데즈를 도디에나다 시에는 조스게 유스마래 다 간다량 다리 잡지 창고를 치 초기네 아니 닌자만 베르진리아 가주에 남버제 드린 유산에 가상 우만에 니마 담배 니모네 지난 소리야 쉬어 주문하신 근데 좀 붙이 이미나 구제 시불이야 아니 다지 시루기 냠레낭제 딘제 딱하주래 구제 미버로 딘제 미 유산에 루치게베 송기 수르베 숭게 수르 참모를 지미는데 장소리야 펜도 신부 중 그래서 말없지 대가랑 이제 신부 주대에
There are many things that I still have to say, but from one way of looking at it, just merely saying something orally is not always so helpful. And so for that reason, we will continue as planned, and today will be the last day of the teaching. Though there are many things that could be said, maybe there's not much point in saying them right now. And so today we have Kyabje Trangurumbache has been giving his annual seminar, international seminar, that has been going on for many days. As I said on the first day, Rinpoche is someone who has really spent his entire life practicing the Dharma through both the the teachings of scripture and of practice. And so now, at this point in Rinpoche's life, I feel that if even we hear just a tiny amount of Rinpoche's speech, that it will be very beneficial. And I truly believe this.
Maybe the Mac need close. 나들이 인주산에 안에 다하는 신들이 다하는 신들이 림부치에게 공의 첨부 교연체 당번나 가장 세바 중에 님들의 표제 중에 님들의 고래 첨부 교연체 에너지 치료낭 아는 아람베지 세르모요하게 도움이 가신 분제 다는 신기 대 다는 신긴두 탐지에게냐 대신도 도움이 가신 분제 다는 대 배배지 가서래 최의 정보 넘버 중에 님이냐 대신도 도움을 문제 다들은 아랑 게임에 도시 쉐인 다 마신 아랑 외에 가상우마 쉬는 신 다로 체르체르 루요하래 대이비냐 다도봐도 뭐지 템바든 드레벤 튼 디첸도 삼바르지 이즈바르지 이즈바 삼바르다지 뭐네 튜니 여러분 대청도 삼바르게 미세게 민도 배는 양왕가마 뭐 군진 고마대주 구진 자발이야 제위미나 공로 추무 뒤네 대바든 저에 돼 랍진 제네 지티 게다 비장가로 수스레 아데수르 제유 산당 랑디 가주에다 네 까마버는 시치규도 파스 수세래 까마벤 지팅베 가주에바지 compare 지아데 파스 수세래 따임비네 디기 베지 젠장르버지 디제수 조거르버지 에게 가주에 추르 체윤두산 따대 야버지 제도 매버스도 따임비네 단동물推荐 가리빈나 응게 레이네 장도 다 조조디 상계의 전주선바 라버도 되네 양감바 군진 고만남게네 베지 투자와 첨부 당 니지 첨부를 되네 당 알아내 미세 가수에다 심 템바던 저에 된시아 고급을 붙지 한들이 중요하래 되네 인주산에 디균전 된다 미망부지기 미망부지랑 아랑 지 다데네 거래야 권호여 되버지랑 안에 다나신게 팬도여 되버지 소다르도 수여 인두산에 디균전 되는 아랑이냐 마다도 무퇴지네 가지 에너지 가수에 지딩 함수 에너지 가수에 무퇴네지 sombre 네네 ene ji dendru thön drutuage rangina monam shuyus
And Rinpoche has really been going through great efforts during this teaching. The other day, on the 15th of the Tibetan month, the full moon, Rinpoche went to great effort to do the long life puja and the long life offering. He prayed so that I might have long life. In addition, all of the members of the Sangha made great aspirations and prayers that I would live long, as did all of my Dharma friends who are here. And so I would like to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Actually, from my own perspective, as I said the other day, I'm growing older and older, but I have this feeling that up until now, I still have not really done anything to be satisfied with, or I haven't really done much to bring benefit to the Buddhism and sentient beings. When I look at the activities of the previous Karmapas, they all, from a very early age, did vast activity on the benefit, for the benefit of the teachings and for the benefit of sentient beings. And so here, my feeling is that whether or not, putting aside whether or not I am the Karmapa, or putting aside whether or not I can be compared to the other Karmapas, but as a follower of the Karmapas, I still do not really feel that I have been able to do the same amount of benefit for beings and the teachings. But be that as it may, because of the blessings, either because it is my previous karma, or if it is perhaps the blessings of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, and especially the previous Karmapas, they have taken care of me with their compassion and their great affection, and given me in particular this special opportunity to be able to do something for the benefit of beings and the Buddhist teachings. And so for that reason, there are many people who express that I am necessary, that they feel like I am necessary and that I am of benefit to them. And so for that reason, I have the aspiration that I may be able to stay in this world realm and be able to accomplish something of benefit for Buddhism and for sentient beings.
That name 다디마 로샤 가서 나만 보시다 싶다. 세 라바도 무게다 첼로당 속의 연den기 gembe 운제다 긴둥기 셰다와도 라마 상경의 칠레바 임베 대남기 라마다 긴둥기 샵도라 남구와나 서준부 류딩나 딘절레 소남체와 주규미용냐베 가조다제데 샤차 부와소 세르마송게 봐도 무만디 개체 세준기 로만 좀둥기 제베디 공기 쉐마송의 키 된제바다 nenjurba chenpo choyo lena tado goyo kyang loma shengi ngundu yidam ke la shesi bata nenjurgi wanju mile kar gudo tsana chana tödö lan zhuwa sogi lugyu mante sochung nam yije gewaka dona rang kang la nawa madawa gewa yugi cha choche genshun su yingyang tela chosha nyiringdang chakdangi yudu mizungwar zawe lamada yidamdo gomde suendip ndebada te nyemba droba keche ndorna tsokwe chödo döna tsotubadan ridongi chöna rituba nila kala ye mebe tsoana döna tsotuba rila döna rituba name lungirla tongtuba shi gwede ndizam raya tal imichi samba rila tongwa khalche.
Perhaps it's best if I just read a little bit. In addition, those umzes and servants of the Sangha who are senior to you in terms of precepts and qualities such as devotion, giving up this life, and so forth, are the ones who actually perform the activity of the Lama. So whenever they ask you to serve the Lama and the Sangha, even if it is just a small task, think that there is no greater way for you to accomplish merit with this body, and do it joyfully, striving at it until your flesh and blood turn yellow. In the past, when Dron Tunpa was a student of Setsun, he took the place of a dog protecting livestock, and the great yogi always put Atisha to work. But both of them saw the deity's face before other students did. If the Lord of Yogis, Milarepa, had finished building the 9-story tower, he would have achieved liberation on hearing. There are many stories such as these, but it is difficult for those who have accomplished little merit to believe them. In brief, whoever the monks and friends, companions, junior and senior, in this place that arise out of imperception may be, do not hold them as objects of attachment or aversion in groups of those close or distant. Instead, meditate on them as your root Lama and the Yidam deity. Recite supplications and sing their praises. Neither being in a community when you are staying in a community, nor being in the mountains when you are in an empty mountains, should be more difficult than the other. If you are in a community, you need to be able to be in the community.
It's same, it's meaning. God Allah
Neither is not one should not be easier than the other or more difficult than the other. They should be the same. If you are in a community, you need to be able to be in the community when you are in the community, able to be in the mountains when you are in the mountains, able to be wherever the wind carries you. You should give a thought or two as to whether that is too much for you.
Okay. Dona Sunyum Joy to Midava, the Dunga, the Tomba, the Damia, the Chenju ism, the Mugu, the Semeshi, the Majeva Chash. Take corne, Sotre, the Vemba Kainga, Lugi Samdam, Lune, Nag Maja, the Sunday Bigi Mugu, the Shallow, Shersuna, Gomta, the Gumshin Parne, says Seven, Digila Keche, Singy Bagun, and Denkiwa, Luri Savashi Yogi. Te Sunday Dimbe, Nup Chageto down a twinge Madoba. Yuma Sheba, Noah, Nuru, Yoa, Darwa, Misuba, Mijemba, Jishin, Dijemeba, Jida Kandala Tuba, so on the body Keche. Sola Shubanam Gindun Dugebe, Danam Chuana, Tamsi Church in duty, Sugar, some Dumburg, Lago Tabacido San, Lutambrosan, Jur Tema Jurja, Gunjo Jazum, Bandel number, Mujian temperature, Nenga, Yalanga, Salatu, which has on the Chito Keche. Gindungi table ba the Genon Nawata Bumado, Shen Segom Jor Lingi, La Soba, Chiminumber Chosheba Shindo Keche, Donna Zumba the Lege, Shoto Cuba Namgini, Chanju Samba the Dojitive and Duala Jebi, Mando Merchise, Rabdo Shumesu, Wambu Shindo Tulbo Tagiga, Derimmer Bazamshi, Milubna, Tarba Tobe, Tabi maybe, Dinamla Lalen Chitip Chegu. Pe Migay and Rango Chebe Gavimbe, Rangirana, Tujirin Zangovan Dogo. Dagini, Jindashi Samjan, Dizamshile, Tamaniji, Yile Shegu Mindubi, Shegu and Mindubi, Rana Kanshaki, Lama member, Den.
When you go for alms, never be separate from impermanence, suffering, emptiness, selflessness, bodhicitta, devotion, and the four immeasurables. Whether you are surrounded by a crowd or in solitude, you must keep the boundaries and posture of the body, the silence and supplication of speech, and the devotion and revulsion of the mind as the foundation, and then have the fortitude about everything up to the meditation belt and meditation stick. This alone is important. Scholars all say that scripture and logic are for developing qualities, it is said, but the alternative is to supplicate. So divide the night into 8 sessions, and for all of them except one, supplicate continuously until it becomes sharp, swift, shaking, trembling, and unbearable. You cannot think, you have no idea what to do, and no idea what is best. When the signal is given for the Sangha to assemble, those who live in communities should gather in one place. Wear the 3 Dharma robes wrapped around, drape the upper robe over one shoulder, and then stand up straight. Join your palms above your crown and remember the qualities of the precious, glorious Lama, the essence of the ocean of jewels. Prostrate with the 5 points touching the ground. This alone is important. Other than the Sangha's cooks or bhikshus who are ill, it is extremely important for everyone else to have the contentment of not thinking anything about whether the food, drink, or cooking is good, bad, or anything else. In brief, Those who have the supreme diligence in karmic fortune practice the Vinaya of the Bodhisattvas and the Vajrayana, so I do not have much to say. Even for those monastics with extremely dull faculties, if they do not train in at least what I have said here, there is no method at all for them to achieve liberation, so they must do everything they can to put this into practice. The time to use your own head is now, so you must take care of yourselves with compassion. No matter how hard I think, I have not found any method other than this, and nothing else has come to mind. Thus I have taught whatever words occurred to me without leaving any out.
매바 년케메가 미수 장별로 녀모기 유동에랍게베 나게 팅된 남란 디스베 유규메베 제바 경화다 그 유도지 창게 제림나 상게 년버 첨부 차와다 마게 지제 되담 제와나 루직 주베체도 겐데고 무구기 겐세 요와메버 셴로 인노 권드기 외도 바로 주지 제베 제이 쇼스르마르 차원디 지즈미 유도지 자오 오
A few words. Though there is no one to listen, I could not bear it. I offer this song of a beggar to the prideful and arrogant, crazed by the afflictions whose suffering increases, so that they behave without deceit. I dedicate this virtue to the one in the ranks of the Kaju Vajradharas named the great Sanjay Nyempa, and so that my former mothers, who do not know what to do, may achieve the state of one taste. May the banner of devotion never waver, and may the jewel of revulsion blaze with the light of what is needed and wanted.
다 딘데르지 제산디 미유도지 가서 조종에 가서 쉬는신디 조다 럽도 총와 디 나는 양지 가르에 럽도 총와다 디 삼덴바 주변냠래 챙게 다 디졸이야 공원에 송에 버래.
Now, as I said the other day, these instructions are primarily given for monastics. And among monastics, they are primarily given for those who do the practice, who devote themselves to practice and accomplishment.
제자다 다리 가르에다 디 다리 다야 슈디 가주디 가서 우망우만의 야게래야지 교류하래 야게를 지금 아주 냠도지 교제다 야보슈다지 땅토요 말 차상하지 야보 중토요 말에 가르에서나 리츠디 가제 차보시 회장 된다들이야 구규망고에 대한 일 가르지 땡땡으로 가르이나 선버르지 땡땡으로 가르지 하고 이나 선버르지 회장 디 야게 도는 말지 교사브리 디 젤이야 아주 네 데비드 까마춘베네 아니 인지 토리아 주르트 제브레 제자안 다리 다 만질룬드 서마르베 다리기 가주레다 지게 최세시 여러분 디 토리아 안 디돈 마지 대가로 로야 예데비치다 랭게주 사메기 에너지 식등 차 망체지 참에 kendo dobru chungye min jusane de yabushida chungsu sambarji tengdo.
So today, here on this last day, these texts that I've been reading from is something that we collaborated to translate into Chinese. Now, actually, we were not able to really polish it very thoroughly. The reason is there are many words in this text that are actually extremely difficult and that can be understood in many different ways. And so we have not really finalized it. But in any case, we did translate it into Chinese. And then later, David Karmapa translated it into English, and so it's like all the conditions were just spontaneously present. And so we had this opportunity to do these teachings, and so it seemed like it was best to just read this text straight through. And I feel like the words in here are very clear, and they're things that you can come to understand. And so I feel like this has turned out very well.
다 드네 선이 ngadu chalaya gyabzi changul muji 가지고 nang yusare 다 드네 치료 chalaya 남균 가지고 당에 마지 최세 제약의 뒤줄 뒤에면이야 지지하나다 라마 쳐버를 지금 되나 가르쳐 주나 삼버를 지 라마 쳐봐 지금 되네 당 아주들이 최숑기들 냠도 지 라마 쳐버를 되나 가르쳐 주나 삼버를 지 대송 지전에다 야버시 용면로 네 뉴스안에 대 참에 도르샤로나 샤인.
Now, tomorrow afternoon is the last day of Kenshin Tonga Rinpoche's teaching. So I thought that maybe tomorrow afternoon, around the time when my own teaching normally happens, maybe it would be a good idea to recite the offerings to the gurus, the Lama Chupa or Guru Puja. And so it seems that if we could all recite this together, it might work out very well. So maybe this is something that could work, and I'd like you to all keep this in mind.
다조조디 라마 쳬바체 가르쳐 버다지 조디 라마 쳬바체 두자네 라마 지 투게버 다 드네지 차로 지레 다 라마 투게버리아 지 가르쳐 잡을 주베 쳬바 단 진레베 룽아가 가자 룽아가 쳬바 말베 아니디 드레인 주사네 타마스 선생이 쳬바스 드리온디 아래 단도나 쳬바 진르지 쳬비냐 다디지 라마 투게버를 지당 대안지 라마 신이의 덴버지미나 라마 신이의 덴버지가 토공 조웨이미나 아라주지 최냠는데 좀베 샤르야 보인 거래 디 용베 견상 가라사나 라마 신이의 덴버디 에네 투게야디 아주 최대 준비 자와지 쳬비미나 라마 신이의 덴버 투게레 최대 준비 자와지 쳬비면 투게가 얼마나 제상 라마 신이의 덴버지 투게베 게바티 코랑기 아주 최대 준비 자와 상부 최대 준비 자와 상부지 준비 다임bre 제자 디규젤 데네 에너지 라마 센데게 라마 투게바사디 퇴라 소소 최냠레 상부지 차베 고 가르스레 춘시르지 민주산에 디규젤 된 데게 좀 차디가래 제자 조
Now, the main thing about the offerings to the gurus, the Lama Chupa, is that by making offerings to the gurus, it means that we are pleasing the gurus. And when we make offerings and please the gurus, there are three ways we can do it. The best way is by our practice and accomplishment. The middle way is by our actions of body and speech, or the offering of our body and speech. And the lowest is through material offerings. And so, in any case, when we make these offerings, the point is that we are pleasing the Lama. And so, in this way, when we have an authentic teacher, an authentic Lama, and we are fulfilling the aspirations of the Lama, then that means that we are doing the practice of the Dharma well. And so for that reason, when we have an authentic Lama, if we do things that are in accord with the Dharma, then this is something that will please the Lama. But if it is something that does not accord or that does not fit with the Dharma, then it will not please the Dharma. And so in this way, when we have an authentic Lama, if we do and if we do a Dharma activity or a Dharmic activity that fits with the Dharma to please the Lama, and it goes well, then this is a sign that we are, then this is something that will please our Lama, and it is a sign that we are practicing well. And so it is important to do this.
다 데라 rab drube chaba seduzan jizu mila reba dabuji chinjingi lama yubiyungla chinena korta maji ya drube chaba yundubu drumje yi rola pembra shos da ngone chena mila reba da tenda dodo di sanjing chaba piyames da gong changburu chiraba gong di mbuwa pyu manye ni pe nyangar bada wangyun pyu manye ni wang shugar de za wang ki shu so wang pu yu man yin an kong ku le khab chong ba je za kong ga de san zi chwa bi ya ma yina da drube chwa korang ge ku zi chi bu le ya be drube gen zin zi ba nang ne tin je da drube chwa di tu da ba jun do ane ji lama ye yung la chwa bi yin de chwa bi wa de ne de drum je ge ne zhuo si bi tam je le ya be da shorties. The Jagabe Kashur Tumin Zavanashi, that Drubechava that Drubechava Pus Duzana, Chunjero di Yashi, Zumila Dobajimeta. That the name Jing Lunga Shabdos Duzana, that in a dia rubbed and ding the sad Jidang Gimaji Remada, Samsam Jing Lunga Chaba di Chebe Rabdu Cuba in Dayar. Drubechava di 다 간다 라마르 가르 투 제거는 다 데베 쳬베 러브르 지데 이메다 마도베 지당 아주마 남샤르 지두스다네 러브르베 쳬바 진룽아 쳬바 타마 아니 선생이 쳬바 사르 지 남샤르 지두데 디치가데 임비네야 야 타지도 룽아 쳬바 이나 데디 가르사디 쳬바 징이 뱅야바게 요스마네 쳬바 초도 규바 규베 네가브지 야레 베나 지준 바롬바 침베 바롬바 타모원 주기 제 감보발라베 로든지 파도 르다 치마신도 조네 꾸이 림준 제네 최 찌지 야마년 바이네야 아니 차게 침베 도바 줄레 계속 다들이 뉴스안에 다데 징룽아가 쳐바 쳐발라 되네 아 쳐바 초도 규베 규베 내가지 용데
With the best offering, the offering of practice, then the greatest example of this is like Milarepa, who spent his entire life devoting himself to practice. Actually, Milarepa had absolutely nothing material to offer. He was beggar. He was poor, and so he had great difficulties. There are all the stories of him not being able to get the offerings in order to give to attend an empowerment, and so not being able to take it, having great difficulties because of this. And so he had nothing material at all. But he made the offering of practice, and he made his entire life so that he was able to raise the victory banner of practice. And this was an offering to his Lama, and through this he was able to achieve the great result. And he dedicated or made the aspiration that this result would bring great benefit to all sentient beings. And so that is the type of offering, the superior offering of practice. And so that the best example of this is Milarepa. And then the middle type of offering is the offering of body and speech. But actually, you can't necessarily say that it necessarily is just the middling type of offering. There are actually occasions when the offerings of body and speech are actually the best offerings that you can give. Really, it's the offerings that please the Lama that are the best offerings that we can make. And so when we make the presentation of this, of course the presentation says that the best offering is the offering of practice, the middle offering, the offering of body and speech, the least offering, the offering of, or the material offerings. But there are times when, but you cannot say that 100% of the time that the offerings of body and speech are not the best, because there are times when they are the best offerings. For example, there was Barum Dharma Wangchuk, who spent 7 years serving Karmapa, never separated from him like a body in its shadow. And during that time, he did not receive even a single word of a Dharma teaching, and yet he developed realization within his being. And so this is an instance where the middling offering of the body and speech actually became the greatest offering.
다 성신기 쳐봐서 춘제로 가르쳐야 다 성신 쳐봐서는 다 성신 쳐봐 오 다지 갈아 가버리도와 다지는 벤수연을 저 초타다는 저기 말도 지금 벤수연을 샤쇼면 벤은 대배 상계인데 가주에 당부 전주조도 도계에 내걸이야 에너지 뼈간지 표현에 전주조도 도계 상계에 전주선비 지선계에 대한으로 차대야 진짜 용되게 하래 다가나지 최계 양의 매기다 구이경 맞으려네 상계 고랑 부구 춘주는 인데베 걸이야 부구 춘주체 디걸이야 안 상계 주패 뉴스안에 내가 상계에 아니 신나게 비하여 말스 고랑 부데다 고랑 조고지어스 디니리아 고랑 텔레잼 텔라든데 잼즈데요 제가 다 텔라데 고랑 칸반도 쓰네 스토리지 너버 쓰시서 다 텔라 동시에 감피샤다 다 지야마도 시다 비하면서 디에네 고랑 마음발라 최예버 양해매 버려 교배 진짜가 로주시에야 다 간다 디조에 지잖아 다 간다 성식이 최바 이미네야 다 고야 최바 rabdun drobe nega rabdun yonsibre dan dona cheba de 상물로 랑거 소수 be loye jene ada de lamala de 비는 디 양셔리 cheba 디 양셔리 삼네 소수 loye jene 비워 많이 봐 천대기 라마 담바 가나 계기여버디 소수 하고 체제 진짜게 투 강계버디 cheba 비도 이미나 아니 가르에 다디 쉐도 줌벌이야 루요 마도야 수수가 안상 로여를 제제 아다 주비셔 병이 남미지질 주바지압디 제제 수수바타를 제제 드리제 같이 가르치는 성 제장 디지레이션 블라블라블라블라 No, it's okay. I don't know how to say it. Maybe you just.
It's difficult to find examples of the material offerings becoming the greatest of offerings. But if we think about it, maybe an example that maybe it's not entirely accurate, but there's the example of in the past the Buddha making offerings, making an offering of just. So making an offering of incense to the Buddha, and this being
single incense,
a single stick of incense to the Buddha, and this being a great offering. Or maybe another example would be of the Dharma king Ashoka, who in a previous lifetime was
during the Buddha's time.
During the Buddha's time, he had taken birth during the Buddha's time, and he was a young child. And he made an offering to the Buddha. He had really actually nothing to give. The Buddha came by, and he had been playing with some friends in the dirt. And so he and his friend gathered up a bunch of dirt together, and they put it in the Buddha's begging bowl. And this was their offering. And the result of this material offering was that in the future he was born as the Dharma king Ashoka. And so these are examples of material offerings. But of course, it is quite possible that there would be times that a material offering would be the greatest type of offering that you give. In any case, when we give an offering, the offering shouldn't be one where we think to ourselves, oh, this is the one that the Lama is going to like best, so I'm going to spend my entire life in retreat, or I'm going to do this or that. That's not what we should do. Instead, we should learn what it is actually going to please the Lama. And then if we make that sort of an offering, then that is the kind of offering that really is in accord with the Dharma and that fits with the Dharma.
다원아 nga zu ji lu long ji de je ba la ma la be chue ba pyu sa ro ya wa se de je ba le ya chue ba pyu sa di pyu go yum san kare ka she da na ji mi ka she de sam se ra de nga de nge da lu nga yi su pyu shan da nge ra wa la ro ro the individual karasorda privacy sort individual karsa draw me top down individual privacy da kara de dizo freedom da that is all da de jana yam da de uma ina de do sta 유럽 니슈저지 발라데 가한지 다 디소 사마르디 요스거 나랑게 드리 제뉴 안데 제 스칼라 카보르도 사마르비 제뉴 다 이베냐 나랑 틴지레야 사마르비 드리 코아소 다데 가라스나 아주지 도슬람 드미도 셈젠 탐제리야다 아주 갈디스다 갈디 기시 미질이야 셈젠 탐제레베 펜 동도이기 삼바베 쮸마마이 바지야지 아 답신 나랑게 루젠디기다 다가 룽아 이좀 셈젠 탐제라 펜지 토나 찌마로냐 바로 다 진지지기베 로 동수 잡으러 지예버지 이메네야 당에 간제지 전에 셈젠 탐제 펜도 의미 하고 말다 간제지 전에 다제 제산디 에네 당에 룽아 예숨디 가르스베 야와세다 제바 라마레 피위스 야와세다 제바 라마 남기 셈젠 칸라 강기 펜바당 다나 신기 에네 장게지 셈젠 탐제라 지들 펜 토버는 유베 니즈르 차장 공구예베 인상 디균젠데네 에네지 가르스베 에네베 가르스베다 베나 다데 베순 베어다들이 공구예베 인상 디 공바 치신도 아니 가르스베다지 수수lunga 이송기 아니 심지 탐제래야 펜토번 유버지 요시 용아 쇼 삼르지 다데야 베나 소소레베 세르도도 쳔부르지에베입니다 세르도도 쳔부지에베입니다 세르도도 쳔부시지 자쳔부시지 자쳔부예베데 하고 오다 단들데 배주의 시비 당고도 손이나 배주 가르당고 예시다 하고 문도 배주 가르당고 하마오디 에너지 세르소 케바르지 세르고 소 케바르지 드니질이하고 째지 근데 딱 간다 코란처럼 가르소고 오는 배 야다 주지 배 가르소베 코란 린다 예번는 신지기 교랑 그때 배주 야고 땅 집에 속다 야고 서샤로 치슬람나 다 세르소 케바디기 에네 그베 리버르 땅체 그베 세르텔 규체네 간다 뭐보 지도 담바지당 뭐보 시 가르소레 신두네 가르소다 펜도 예버지 딘디지 소로 다나 신기 나란주 다데 지 심제 탐제라 펜 통도 이사바네 예 지더 펜 다겨봐야 마시 에네 간디지 쳔 펜 심제 탐제라 펜게 예당 안에 심제 탐제 누구 예사로 딘제게 당 아들 가르쇼에 참 맛이 내걸이야 라마 야와서도 제발이야 소소다 룽아 예수님이야 피샤 고난 저기 일단 소소 첩을 제제 아니 시제 아니 배주나로 지사로지 단 도나 되라 아주 심진 탐제라 펜 소소 삼바는 신지기 심진 탐제라 펜 토브는 교야로지 다 딘디지 용아가 셔도 가서 룽아 예수 나만 고조숨을 피우사 좀 전부터 딘디지미라 엠비냐 다 딘디지 기다리나
So it's sometimes said that we need to offer our bodies and all our possessions to the lamas and to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. And so why is this said? Sometimes when we think about it, we think, oh, I've given my body, if I give my body in speech to the Buddhas and the Lama, then I'm not going to have any control. I'm not going to have any privacy or rights or any freedom to do anything. I'm going to lose everything. And so maybe it's like that now in this 21st century. But it's something we have to think about. Maybe it's actually difficult to do that, but sometimes once I had the thought that maybe it's actually like this. Maybe if there were someone who wanted to bring benefit, to use their body, speech, and mind to bring benefit to all sentient beings. They have this really strong motivation to benefit all sentient beings, but they don't really know how it is that they can use their body, speech, and mind to benefit the sentient beings. And so, because they do not know what is going to benefit, then they think to themselves, okay, I'm going to give my body, speech, and mind to the Buddhas, to the Bodhisattvas, and to the Lamas. I'm offering it to them, and then they will know what is the best way to help sentient beings. They will know how it is that that my body and speech can be used to help sentient beings. And so in this way, it's like using it as an example, a way to be able to fulfill their intentions. And so in this way, we can use our body, speech, and mind in a way that brings benefit to sentient beings. For example, if we have a big piece of gold, a hunk of gold, and we know it's valuable, we know, and it's valuable, and we know it's valuable, we want to put it to good use, but we don't know how to make anything that's going to make good use of it. So since we ourselves do not know how to make anything that will be useful, we call a skilled goldsmith. And we consult with this goldsmith about what can be made that will be useful, what can we do that will do it. And we say to him, okay, you take this, you use it properly, and make something nice and useful out of it. And then the goldsmith will take the gold, they'll think carefully about it, and then they'll use that gold as the material from which they fashion something that is really beautiful and really useful. And so in the same way, we have this intention that we are going to bring benefit to sentient beings, but we do not know how it is that we're going to do that. We don't really know what is going to be beneficial or harm. And so for that reason, we offer ourselves to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas and the Lama. And we say to them, please use my body, speech, and mind as you will. And so in this way, actually what we're doing is we're offering in order that we will be able to accomplish the benefit for sentient beings that we wish to accomplish, we offer our body, speech, and mind to the Lamas and the three jewels.
The point of direction or sort of make a suggestion. Subject to 제자 된 제단 시민도 제자게 바다지 람되스는 장도 야나베 point direction 아 걔가 가르때 번은 신가랑 주고 인사하지 디초래 루가 예수 뜻은 인사하지 다들 지미라 다들 제자 디균세되는 저3에 다 내르지미라.
So the main thing is that they're giving us guidance. They're pointing us in the right direction. We don't know what direction we need to go in, and so we're saying to the Lama, you know which direction, and so you point the direction, and then I will go in that direction. I will send my body, speech, and mind in that direction. And so the main thing is that it is giving us direction and showing us the path.
야, 다 드네 뉴스단 단도나 대야 아니 다 지당기 가수에 다 망보지 시아스 게임도 다 지당기디 조연고보 지금버체보 지금 송경기 시세 시세기 상계기 자와체바 인스 드리소나다 시제를 시세기 상계기 자와체바 인스 다들 가르쳐 버서나 시제를 예배 최 탐지기 상계기 자와체바 상계기 제반 인스 다 상계기 내가 지금 알았어 제장 가르루에다 오늘 제비입니다. 아주 최 냠내 남아 챙겨를 지미나 타파지 지 능시 베자르 샤르스네 라도 야메나지 능시 라마르 차르스네 라도 다 젤레 베 사모시에는 베미히야 유기레 다임비네야 답데브르 셰샤비미나 단도나 능시 쳔다 탐지기 나졸리야베 응어던 규네 가르레데 지 가르레 천샤도 가르레 응어던 규네 나졸리야지 최기 남자 망고지 된 거예요 그렇지 배나 야르다 구응기 윤도디 미네야 나졸리야 미다베 전신 된 거요 아래 텔라 소바당 땅가나 도나지 나란츠기 수수기 에네다 라메 맹아 여버체 다가는 신 퇴섬기 시럽 여버체 딘지지기 베 맹아의 시럽 송제기 관에 다 가서 남주 이미를 당지직 다연주산에 에너지 탐지베지 베자 차르스는 다도 당나를 차르스는 다도 단다나 도나 탐지지 소수기 가다 지 최주베 지 튠베 겐당 초당 에너지 가르에 람레야 차르투야 지 요베임베레 드린주산 디균셀 데네 다 조조디 간다랑 안줄이야 드리지 라메 맹아과데 계심브레샤 다가는 신베지 퇴삼기 퇴삼 곰송기 베다 간다라 퇴삼기 시럽고야 다는 신 간다지 야네 양도 다 콤베다 냠용으로 거야 다 되서 계심브레샤 다 드리 충분히 이미나 안된데지 소소 이미냐 에너지 최소 토네 림베지 야겐 드라이 데베지당 다는 신디 소소리 야게 침바디 툴레데네 소소기 다 초보세난다도 소소단 제요 미티솔 이미냐 아네 된단데베지 페버로 주투야 용거레sambe 이시심부요 지대송거 상겔 시절 시절이 상겔 자와체 다들 this gala all of phenomena they will do walk Buddha
Okay.
something like that
And so
Buddha's job or something.
there are many things that we could say. There are many things that we could say, but it says the great protector of beings, the Jigten Sumgon, said that basically all phenomena perform the activity of the Buddha. So all of the things, all of the phenomena are like they're ways that the activity of the Buddha manifests. And so actually, it's like when we do our practice, often it's said that taking all that appears and exists as texts, or taking all that appears and exists as our lamas. And when we think about that, of course, there are many different levels we can talk about this. There's some very profound levels that we can talk about this. But on an easy way of thinking about it, when we think about everything that appears and exists, then either directly or indirectly, it teaches us about the nature of things. When we think about the seasons of summer and winter and so forth, these teach us the nature of impermanence and so forth. And so in this way, if we have the instructions, the key instructions from the Lama, if we have the wisdom of listening and contemplating, and then we take this wisdom and the instructions and we meditate upon them in union, then this is the way that we can really come to see how the nature of things, and everything then becomes like something that teaches us. It gives us an example, or it represents something to us. And so in this way, all different phenomena become something that is like a condition that supports our practice, or it becomes an aid in a practice. It becomes the path of our practice. And so for that to happen, the main thing we need is we need to have the instructions from the Lama. It's important to have the instructions from the Lama. We need to have the wisdom that arises from the listening and contemplating. And then we need to meditate upon these over and over again, develop the experience. And so when we the main thing, when we have that, then we can use our own intelligence to discern how things actually are. And in that way, we can increase this and improve ourselves. And then we can bring benefit to ourselves, and we can also benefit our friends and all those who are connected to us. And I truly believe that this is how it can happen.
야야 다 당기 이게 라마 쳐서 쉬고야 돼. 조조디 겹지 청구를 무치에 나다 이제 공로 첨부를 패대요. 알아 다 인비네 당동 무되는지 때마다 저에 된도 지 쇼도바당 엔디 슈베게 지 카슈에 차연된 아주지 로마츠 참여원에 지 반델라마지 투게베 자와 탐제베 매 투게베 자와 주베제제 진짜 돈에 에네베 가수에 예신도 지 인점빌리야 모티니 지 초시셰도 바로 다 진짜 용아체도 미네 슈여 다대야 슈가 юм진지 가라를 투도야 당 퍼스널 가레스나 당 알아야지 가수에다지 까마베 민르브 주아래 다 드린 주산에 까마베다 롤 소마르지 play a role Karmapa sumar daji Karmapa chawaru chego the Karmapa ji zabakyang chawa chesa de not a joke that is them zajim remdo de dig lela kala khabu shibchi gyön den bebe khashwe gyön 탐지에 den 소수 기우지 gyön 군세 상계 chawa de kala khabu shib 다디 잔디 그 오늘 셰비나 it's 가수라다지 깔아하고 싶으시샤 다 임비네야 조데 베나지 당와이네 겹지 땡가를 무지라고 지어다 공공모 조사다 겹지 정거를 무지다보다 되지 소수 틸리아 가수에베지 가수라다 ngwenda kyabdo chi tne jiya bale tene ta sosu yinge ne imne ta chi jena ma jene chi chigurun do sambar chi de jawar chi yondi chi ta kisi be digidi be chi karjure be ja ye ban sin ene ribe shi do re shi do zo so na ene sanyi de sa ta nga chi bu be chome kha yan ro chi la chi ka la khabur ji yondi ya ye be la ba do ngara yin de lo chu ju ru ji ade yin du sa da na sin da lots of problem 다 뉴욕저 망부 쉽지 나로래야베 여베 인두산에 디균센 데네 땅아라 퍼스널 톤 셰비네 갈아가고 싶지 차대야 버지레 디니두산 디균센 데네 아리 소소 개경원에 임비냐 루부치베 모두는 지 소시시에네 쇼과디 고바균센 첨부르지 톤디 요아레 디니두산 디균센 데네 아니 다치선이 라마 쳐버려 그래서 디지에네 아무 멘로 삼텐데 찬송 다 담아데 오케이
Now, I spoke a few moments ago about doing the Lama Chipa, the offerings to the gurus. And the main point here is that our Lord of Refuge, Trungpa Rinpoche, is now in his old age, but he is still present. And so the main idea is that hopefully he can remain and continue to bring benefit to the teachings and the beings. And so in this way, by doing this puja, we can please the Lama and ask him so that he can remain and do this. And by pleasing him, then he will be able to stay for a long life. And so that is the prayer, that is the aim of doing this. And I also have personal reasons for asking, for doing this. ever since I have the name of the Karmapa, and so I need to fulfill the role of the karma and do the activity of a Karmapa. But performing the activity of a Karmapa is no joke. It is not easy. It is extremely difficult to do. In particular, it is extremely difficult for an ordinary being who has all of the faults in his being to be able to try to perform the activities of Buddhas who have removed all of their faults. This is extremely difficult. And so in the past there was also Kyabje Tenga Rinpoche, but he has passed into nirvana. And now Kenshin Tranga Rinpoche is still here, but if we do not do anything about it, then there's the danger that they will all pass away and there will be none of them left. Now, my hope is that whether or not this works, that it will be able to help Rinpoche live a long time. And so I am still young, but although I'm still young, I am surrounded by many difficulties and many problems. Personally, my life is very difficult, and so for that reason, for these reasons of my own, I would like to make this offering to Rinpoche so that he may continue to live for a long time. And so for that reason, I think it would be good to do the offerings to the gurus tomorrow.
that ne tamadliya thari kashwaji ji kashwa chöshe ra cha gogab chumde sosura yili ne ya pendor chonsong karasana mishindalia chöshe ba de tunyamdo sosura yimi ne ya ji semla guja ra bo yana semla sendebro ji yondido 세상 오늘 채비나 기란소로 펜토 유미하모 ngaran 펜토 총송 드린 두산에 다 드린 두산에 데스 가르에다 selfish 란데기 삼tam비나 다 ngaran 직소 삼바르 총송 다 간다야 기란소 다리데 미세 가르 두주 다나스데 페브딜이야 ngaran 원이냐 제수이란당 가르에 가와퓨에 다 다나 신기 미망부지 라이브 웹카스트 sommer 다 디수 세네 미망부지 무슨 데 매브체는 지 예금 점들이야 예데베 찬솔이 미냐 다는 신기 투시에다 그리 시샤인 투시에
So we have had this opportunity for these Dharma teachings, and for myself, I feel like they have been very beneficial. Because when you teach Dharma to others, then it sort of encourages you and inspires you yourself. So I don't know whether or not this has been beneficial for you, but it has been beneficial for me. And so from my own selfish perspective, I can say that it's worked out pretty well. But you all have been coming here, you have been coming to the teachings, and I really rejoice. I'm very glad and happy that you have been coming to these teachings. And in addition, there are many people who have been watching these teachings over the live webcast. And so you haven't been able to come, but there are many people in different countries you've been watching and taking great interest, and I'd like to thank all of you very much as well.
Cheke ina malu ba damche gyawa dake gawa me
Deda Ngaba Mise Gyazo Na Yange Yanla Gyazo Yawa Gunge Yunde Raju Jende Ura Shiba Damje Da Medo Damba Chinwa Damba Da Sinye Namda Chube Mame Chodan Dobe Damba Ye Yawa Deda Lane Cheba Yesh Chime Buma Rira Nyamba Da Gweba Geba Babe Chogen Ye Yawa Deda Lane Cheba Yesh Lame Gyachewa Deda Yawa Damje Layam Sambo Chela Debe Donda Ge Yawa Gula Chanze Dimo Wange Ne Ludang Ada Dishe Ye Yan Deva Dage Yiba Jije Ba Deda Damje Dage Sangye Se Rangye Namda Loda Meloda Droa Gunge Sanang Gala Yan Deda Gunge Jezwa Kana Chuchu Jiden Drama Da Janju Rinpa Sangye Majanye Gombo Deda Dage Kholo Lana Meba Gawa Nyange Dedu Ganshi Deda Lan Droa Gula Bechi Geba Shinge Dunyi Shuba Yang Dage Tamo Rabjiraso Chantse Wada Chujin Shaba Da Jesu Yerang Gewa Chumse Dage Jiza Bata Manu Bala Bedra Sado Memba Zudu Gayu Memba Zubu Gayu Memba Anurado Memba Sawa Zide Mebraya Da Sawa Suzame Tsedam Jireya Guru Ha Ha Bhagavan Sawa Datha Gada Vajramani Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sadhu Bhumi Aum She Nambradava Vanje Seye Sa Om Benzari Ge Aum Chinjari Kuyuge Rave Yonsu Kove Re Gebo Rivu Chora Jara Lubabu Lo Zambu Lo Balanje Charamini Rinpoche Revo Pasam Geshin Dujoye Pa Mame Baye Kolo Rinpoche Nambo Rinpoche Lumbo Rinpoche Lambo Rinpoche Danjo Rinpoche Nambo Rinpoche Tere Shemboye Kimuma Joma Loma Karama Medoma Dubema Nazama Jijama Rinpoche Tu Jole Nambra Geve Genze Vizorada Pejo Kuzun Zawa Mazan Luye Chale Deva Nambra Kuda Dinye Zame Pandan Chingo Dan Gomba Irma Shiva Pandan Lama Tamba Dunye Ledo Sene Chile Doje Zala Jole Nambra Geve Bela Sambesha Rinde Chege Duzi Samo Prata Be Dujin Dara Biora Yevo Duje Rove Shene Jing Oh Kanjin jondre nüzeri dada nyudu şişin zenen jomgyurji medan mimin rova da Güla janju sumjo rumbu shen hange gene nüze samju Penjun jambe simdan dene gyang büyü da de ye bege Sangye denpa da ye yune shu zazon gyava seche dembe Konde gewe zawa kanche pa daja nasa nambra kame ruyu Shanzu lo gewa de nyawara tsune ne simje namge du sum sabaye sache same sunju gewa Lame shanju jambro ngo gen rugun damje genpa dobra Shui Chanchu Simje Yenguro Do Daso Simjen Damji Duzon Sadang Toba Yen Juju Simjen Malupa Gunga Nyurdo Sho Sangye Kusum Nyebe Chenlada Chunye Mingyur Dembe Chenlada Gendye Mejen Dembe Shedarang Wam Rupa Yu Choge Tayen Jowa Gulabe Kundu Sambyu Genbe Shungru Nengen Son Nena Dombara Yu Semjo Rinpo Mani Thank you. Come.